Joining us now, member of the Judiciary Committee, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. Senator Coons, should we give Donald Trump a break? He's been through a lot, says Nikki Haley.
Well, Mika, that's just a remarkable statement by former Governor Haley of South Carolina. The break that I've been looking forward to and that I got was this morning. I woke up, looked at my phone, and there were no 3 a.m. angry tweets. There were no direct threats to our democracy or republic. There was a press conference where people told truths and talked about solving problems. I almost don't know what to do with myself. I now have separate channels on TV for news, comedy, and horror, and I used to get all three of those out of the daily Twitter feed of President Trump.
So, Senator Coons, let's talk about, because I think some people still need to be reminded, there's been this fog of disinformation in the last even 2 weeks about why you believe an impeachment trial is appropriate for this president, what you think he did to lead to this point, and why you think it's important to pursue the conviction of a man who's no longer in office.
Well, there's new evidence coming out every day about the things President Trump did to spread baseless lies that he had won an election that he'd lost, and to try and subvert and undermine the rule of law and the process of our democracy, reporting just in the last few days that at the last minute, a commitment to resign en masse by the whole Department of Justice leadership is the only thing that prevented Trump from firing the acting attorney general and replacing him with a more pliant DOJ leader who would file baseless lawsuits in the Supreme Court. But frankly, the only thing that I need to know is that in the midst of an assault on our Capitol, where thousands of armed and angry rioting supporters of President Trump were beating Capitol police officers, in one case bludgeoning a Capitol police officer to death, and breaking into the Capitol and threatening the Congress and trying to stop the certification of an electoral vote. At that moment, President Trump was gleeful and declined requests to dispatch the National Guard and took no action to restrain his supporters, and made no effort to check on the safety of his own vice president or the leaders of Congress. That alone, to me, is evidence enough to convict on the charge that was presented to the Senate yesterday. I look forward to hearing more evidence, but bluntly, I don't think this is a hard case to make. That moment, which I can't believe any of my colleagues have forgotten, just a few weeks ago, struck me as overwhelming suggestion and evidence that we had a president not committed to the safety and security of Congress, the Capitol Police, and the democratic process.
Is it important to you, Senator Coons, beyond a conviction for impeachment, as you just said, you believe is warranted, to prevent Donald Trump from holding federal office again? That's one of the concerns from a lot of people, as you know, inside that body, that he will come back, that he will run again in 2024. Do you think, based on what he did around the attack on the Capitol, around all these lies he told about what happened in the election, that he should not serve again?
That's certainly my view. To me, there has to be accountability, and that's the accountability tool the Constitution gives us. I am also very clear that we are in the middle of a dangerous, even disastrous moment in modern American history. As many as another 100,000 Americans will die of this pandemic in the coming month. And our new president, President Biden, is doing everything he can to deliver a competent, focused, science-based response to this pandemic. But it has spiraled so badly out of control in the months since the election, when former President Trump utterly failed to act as president. He spent the time since November tweeting, golfing, and spreading conspiracy theories. President Biden spent the last 2 months preparing to become president, and he is already having an impact on the trajectory of this pandemic. But we need to hold President Trump accountable for his actions, and we need to move forward and confirm the cabinet and make progress on delivering the relief the American people need and deserve.
Senator, we've got Yamiche Alcindor connected, and she's got a question for you. Yamiche?
Good morning, Senator Coons. My question is based on the conversations I've been having with legal experts. They tell me that President Trump could come to the Senate trial, demand to be heard, and actually speak on the Senate floor. How concerned are you about President Trump, former President Trump, possibly coming and turning this into a spectacle and using this trial to really continue to spread information, disinformation, as well as possibly, if he's not convicted, talk about the fact that he was exonerated? How worried are you about the unintended consequences that might come from this trial?
Yamiche, I am concerned that Republican colleagues of mine are inclined to acquit him, and that the consequences of his acquittal and his then having a bigger voice and a more disruptive voice to spread disinformation in our country about the legitimacy of the 2020 election, I am concerned about that and about those consequences. I think we need to find a way to deliver accountability. And my hope is that as we are sworn in today to serve as if we were jurors, as the deciding body in an impeachment trial, that my Republican colleagues will reflect on the gravity of what happened here just a few weeks ago. Yamiche, there are still thousands of National Guard troops surrounding our Capitol. We are still meeting behind a barbed wire, 8-foot-tall barrier. I think every day as we go into work here in the Capitol, we are reminded of what happened and the consequences of spreading lies to the American people. I hope that my colleagues will listen to what Senator Romney so forcefully said on the floor that night of January 6th. The best answer is to tell them the truth. I'm sorry, ma'am?
Would you vote to let President Trump speak during his Senate trial?
I haven't thought about that, and I would have to weigh it. There is a right to be heard and to confront one's accusers that's fundamental to our legal system. And although an impeachment trial is a unique sort of thing, because think about it, all of us are both witnesses and jurors, for example, in this instance. I would have to think about that. My gut instinct would be, of course, to allow him to speak in his own defense.
All right, Senator Chris Coons, before you go, tell us about an effort between you and Chris Van Hollen for Eugene Goodman, hopefully to receive the Congressional Gold Medal of Freedom?
That's right. The Congressional Gold Medal is a special way that Congress recognizes great Americans. Officer Goodman, as so many Americans saw, because of his quick thinking, because of his training, and because of his personal bravery, deflected the movement of this angry mob and prevented them from storming into the Senate chamber just as the senators and vice president were being escorted out. There were many Capitol Police who conducted themselves honorably that day. There are 2 who died as a result of this tragic incident. Eugene Goodman is an officer we can all thank and celebrate for his service, as we thank all the Capitol Police.
For sure. Senator Chris Coons, thank you so much.